If you've been practicing roller skating, but making progress feels harder than it needs to be, one of these 5 mistakes might be why. Because I've never taught someone who couldn't learn to roller skate. And in this video, I'm walking you through 5 mistakes that may be holding your skating back and how to fix them. Hey, I'm Tracy from Suns Out Skates Out, and I teach adults how to roller skate through my in-person classes and my online course, Roller Skate by Sunday. Little disclaimer guys, as you can see, it is starting to rain. I don't recommend that you skate in the rain, especially if you're a beginner. But I'm not moving around too much for this video and I'm committed, so let's get this video done before it starts raining even more. And if you're new to roller skating, I've got a free 5-day Learn to Skate series where I walk you through exactly what skills to learn first, which is linked down below. So over the years of teaching students, I've realized people don't usually get stuck because they need more practice, which is what people usually think is the first problem. They get stuck because they're putting their time and effort into the wrong things. And that's where a lot of these mistakes that I'm going to be talking about stem from. And stick around for mistake number 4, because it might be the thing that changes the way you look at skating completely. But let's start with the most common mistake I see beginners make all the time. So mistake number 1, practicing random skills instead of the foundations. I know this might sound simple and maybe like it wouldn't make that much of a difference, but it really does. Because the amount of times I've heard people say they started skating and after 1 or 2 sessions, they were already trying backwards skating or trying to attempt a spin and wondering why it felt hard or they couldn't do it. It's a lot. I hear this all the time, and I know all of these skills look really fun, but one of the biggest mistakes I see is when skaters try to jump ahead before their foundations are solid. And by foundations, I mean simple rolling forward, stopping, turning, getting comfortable shifting your weight from side to side, because those basics are what everything else in skating is built off. Progress usually doesn't come from trying a heap of skills and hoping something clicks. It comes from building upon them. So if you wanted to improve faster, I'd say spend less time trying to ask what tricks do I need to learn and more time asking what foundations do I need to be confident doing. Mistake number 2 is leaning back when you feel wobbly. I think the second mistake almost every skater makes at some point. And leaning back when you feel wobbly usually results in falling backwards, which is the worst. If you've done it, you know the feeling. And this happens because you feel unsure and your body wants to pull away from the thing that feels scary, so you lean back. I see this all the time with beginner skaters. Sometimes it's just an instinct that happens and that's normal, but skating comes down to your posture, so not leaning too far forward and definitely not leaning back. It's also soft knees, it's also your weight placement, it's being center over your skates, and like I said, not being back. And I know this is one of the bigger problems because I say this about 100 times a week, literally, to my students. When people just adjust their posture and shift their weight a little bit better, things start feeling easier really quickly. So if I felt wobbly, I wouldn't lean away from the problem. I would work on fixing the posture that gives me more control, and that can just look like skating around for 5 minutes, just thinking over and over to yourself about your posture and your weight placement. It's sometimes what feels safer in the moment is actually what's going to throw your skating off. It's training your brain to do something that's not a natural instinct. Mistake number 3 is making practice too long or too infrequent. This third mistake is making practice feel harder in your head than it actually needs to be. Now, there's no magic number to see progress in how many times you need to practice or for how long, but I see people think that they need a huge space and a whole 2 hours free to practice. And because that feels hard to fit in, they hardly practice at all. Or it's the opposite, they practice too infrequently, maybe only once every month or 2, and that can definitely lead to slow progress. Because skating is like most sports, it responds really well to repetition. 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, a few drills in the driveway or garage, That's all that you need. People often underestimate what small, regular practice can do, not hours and hours of practice trying 15 different skills. I always tell my students to practice 15 or 20 minutes about 2 to 3 times a week rather than one long session every second or third week. So don't make practice feel big in your head and that it becomes something that you start to avoid. Mistake number 4 is looking for confidence before you start building your skills. This is a big one. Now, if you have stuck around until here, I think this 4th mistake is the biggest one, which is waiting to feel confident before you really commit to roller skating. Because people often think and say, I've heard students say this all the time, once I feel more confident, I'll skate more and try new skills. But confidence usually doesn't come first. This skill comes first. Then your confidence grows from that. Because confidence on skates isn't something that comes naturally to most people. It's something that you build the skill for over time. Usually through doing the very thing that feels uncomfortable at first. Like I said already, through repetition, through little wins, through building those foundations, through realizing I can do this by taking those little small steps. People think confident skaters were always confident, and they weren't. And I wasn't either. I get a lot of students saying how natural skating looks for me, and it is. But that's because I spent almost 10 years doing competitive artistic roller skating. I built my skills and confidence through skating for years and years and years. So confidence isn't the starting point, it's the result. And once people understand that, they stop waiting to feel ready and they just do it. Mistake number 5 is quitting before the fundamentals click. I see this honestly over and over. People try skating, it feels really awkward, it feels harder than what they expected, and they assume maybe that they're just not good at it and it's not for them. But what is happening here is that they've stopped before those fundamentals had time to become natural, because in the beginning, you're thinking about everything. You're thinking about your balance, you're thinking about your posture, you're thinking about how to stop, where your feet are. It feels like a lot in your head and you're really focusing. But then there's a tipping point, and it's where those basics start to feel less conscious. You stop overthinking everything that you're doing, and skills start to flow a little bit more, and skating starts to feel a lot more natural to you. I like to say it's a little bit like riding a bike. You're not over-analyzing anything like you were when you were first learning. So skating is pretty similar to that. And I know a lot of people stop before they even get to that point, not because they can't do it. And I'd hate for someone to mistake the awkward beginner phase for their limits on what they can do on roller skates. So if you recognize yourself in any of these mistakes, it's not a sign that you can't skate. It may just be a sign that you need a different approach. Everything I mentioned in this video can be improved with the right foundations in place. And if you're brand new to skating or feeling a little bit confused about what to actually work on first, I've got a free 5-day Learn to Skate series, which is linked down below, that walks you through the skills step by step. And if you're learning and time poor and wondering what to practice next when you barely have time, go ahead and watch this video next, because I show you exactly what to focus on. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, let's get out of here before it starts bucketing down. Should I keep skating or should I not?